#1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WDAS and WD273D Philadelphia is Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler.
Here's the pitch to Turner, and he swings and drives one high in the air, deep left field. Eli White going back to the track at the wall. He jumps. He can't get it. It's gone. And Turner has taken Iglesias deep here in the 9th inning.
How about that, sports fans? And a good afternoon. Sean Bray, Sam Oshtry from The Score, rocking out with you today on this beautiful Thursday in the Delaware Valley. Masters front and center, but folks, how about them fightings last night? Battling back and finding a way to win on the road in Atlanta in a great baseball game. Sam, I know it's early in the season and you can't get too hyped about an April 9th victory, but rivalries are rivalries. And I feel like more than ever, the Phillies and the Braves could be considered one of, if not the best rivalry in Major League Baseball.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Am I, when you think about it, of course, you want to give respect to the Red Sox and the Yankees, and I think they're bringing it back, but there is real hate between the NL East teams. And it's funny because you don't want to disrespect the Mets and what they were able to do last year and say, we're not looking past you. But the Braves were the ones that came with the expectations. The Braves were the ones with all these big-time players. Now, I know the Mets signed Juan Soto, but again, odds makers out there had the Braves winning this division, even though they did not last year. So that's where my mind goes immediately, thinking about why this matchup between the Phillies and the Braves, and I don't care when it happens, what point in time of the year, it's one of the best rivalries in Major League Baseball.
Absolutely. And playoff matchups breed rivalries. And
that's a good point.
Not just, it wasn't last year, obviously, but 2 years before that.
Yep.
When the Phillies beat the Braves, knocked the Braves out, sent them home. That's what really built this rivalry. And now you have the Phillies Mets that are brewing after last year's playoff collapse, really, by the Phillies against the Mets. And that's what builds rivalries. So when you have an NL East battle, as you put on the Phillies hat.
Yeah, I had to put that on. Come on.
When you have an NL East battle, teams that have gone at each other's throats in the playoffs in the last few years, every regular season series is so important between these teams. So I don't care that we're playing April baseball right now. Like, this matters. I don't care that the Braves are off to a horrible start and missing some guys. Yep. This matters. And game 3 to decide this series tonight, it all matters.
Ooh, I like that. Good build up there. Anyways, last night, though, Trea Turner goes yard in the top of the 9th inning.
So that's what y'all want to see.
Yeah, that's what we want to see, baby. More of that. Trea, I believe he has had that closer's number from Atlanta. I think he's had, I was watching Major League Baseball Network this morning, MLB Network. They said 3 home runs and 8 at-bats, which is, man, if you are that successful versus a pitcher, Iglesias for the Braves, if you are that successful versus a pitcher and you're sitting there in the on-deck circle, you got to be like,
yep.
Yeah.
And it's a mental thing too. The other way, if the pitcher, if they know a batter's killed them in the past, they're going, what can I do differently? How do I change these pitches up? The catcher calling the game, obviously, that's on him as well. So it's a mental thing. It's a mental battle between the batter and the pitcher, especially when one has dominated the other.
Speaking of mental battles, Alec Boehm seems to be going through one right now.
Yep. As he was at the end of last year.
0 for 5. Even Marsh, there's some alarming numbers out there from Marsh's perspective since the All-Star break of last year and how many times he's been striking out. It's like, wait a minute, dude. We thought we had somewhat of an answer with you, and that might not be the case at this point in time. Again, it is the second-ish week of April. Nobody is losing their mind over anything. That's why when people were hitting me up last night going, look, I'm not, I just lost you there. Sorry. Let me bring you back as far as the stream is concerned. Tim O'Keefe, and I loved him, but he put in our group chat that, he wanted to bury Atlanta and really knock them out. And I'm just like, It's the first week of April. Are you really knocking out anybody? Please talk.
Yeah, you got me. I'm box score watching at this point with baseball. NBA is down the stretch of the playoffs, or getting into the playoffs. I'm box score watching with baseball at this point, which we were talking about before. It's a good sport that you can just box score watch. So I'm locked in on the box score for every Phillies game. But look, you said it. It's April baseball. So I'm not going to get hell bent if we do take this series against the Braves tonight. But look, in terms of enthusiasm with the fan base and getting the fan base back in, which I know something Luke has talked about, because after last year, it's like, all right, we're running this back again after playoff heartbreak. Now we're running it back again. A lot of the fan base was probably like, all right, like we're going to show up, we're going to support our Phils, but do we have much hope that we can legitimately win a World Series or make it to the World Series in a really tough and deep National League? And then you start the season, one of the first two series, you play the Dodgers, you beat them, and then if they win tonight, they beat the Braves, the two favorites to come out of the National League. That's built big time. That's momentum. It doesn't really matter that much in April, but in terms of the fan base's support and the fan base's expectations and hope, it builds them back up.
I couldn't agree more with you. There was a lot to like from last night's victory. You got to love when the guys you're paying the big money deliver, and it starts and ends, of course, with Trea Turner and what you're able to get out of him. But we can't look past the showman himself, who was 2 for 12 in his previous 3 games, and then steps to the plate and goes yard.
Here's the pitch. Harper swings, hits one high in the air, deep right center field, and that ball is gone into the Braves bullpen. And Bryce Harper has finally connected again against Atlanta.
Great Scott Fransky on the call, courtesy of Philadelphia Phillies Radio Network. 4-3. Final score last night. Phillies plus money. Got burnt on it first game. If you came back and said, you know what, got a fire. I had all the love in the world for the Phillies in the first game. And the game with Wheeler on the mound yesterday, right there, plus 131. You cash. We roll into game 3 today, and you brought up, one of the talking points from the offseason for the Phillies were for the negative people out there was
there are a lot of them.
You didn't do anything. What did you do? Did you add? You didn't bring anything in that's going to catch our attention. Well, Luzardo is one of those guys that they did bring in, and he's on the mound this evening. Schwellenbach on the mound, Spencer Schwellenbach for the Braves. You're looking at minus 125 right now on DraftKings Sportsbook, plus money for the Fightins. Here we go again with Luzardo on the mound, and Luzardo has surrendered just 2 earned runs in 12 innings, coming off a great outing, 7 innings shutouts against the Dodgers on Friday when the Phillies won the game by a score of 3-2.
My Lord.
Hey now. All right, so Phillies on the table. We'll get into that. We'll talk a little bit more about that matchup. We got Sam Oshtry from the Score here. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends. The Masters. And it might not do a lot for sports talk radio. I get it.
A tradition unlike any other.
Justin Rose, 6 under.
I saw that.
Wow.
That would be something. He had a Masters collapse a few years back, right?
Are you a golf guy?
I love the Masters,
okay.
And I pay attention to majors.
Okay,
so I like it. I'm not going to act like I pay attention throughout the year to the PGA Tour events, but I love the Masters. And I know what goes on in the majors.
There is a PGA Tour event coming to Philadelphia, the Truist,
sure is, yep.
And we are going to be broadcasting live there.
That's awesome.
How about that?
We'll be down there.
How about that at the Cricket Club?
When's that? Early May?
Yeah, the 7th. I want to say May 7th.
Nice.
And then we ride into that weekend. I believe the Kentucky Derby's that weekend.
Yeah, it's always that first week of May.
Yeah, man. Great weekend. So we'll be rocking out. All right. Just a quick Masters update. Right now, Rosie is 6 under through 10.
Wow.
Woo!
That's impressive.
I want to complain about something real quick.
Go ahead.
These freaks out there that tell me that this Masters app is like the greatest thing ever, and
I saw people complaining about it today.
But no, it's not, this is the Masters. It shouldn't be on an app.
Well, not everyone can just watch on the TV all day. What about the people who can't watch on the TV? They got to follow somehow. No,
you can watch ESPN. All right.
What about the people who are working those 9 to 5s at their desk? They don't have a TV in the office. They gotta sneak away on their phones. There's a lot of people who can't follow all on these Thursdays and Fridays. Now, if it's a Saturday and Sunday, you shouldn't be following on your phone. But I'm sure there are
Is
people
that
working
why
these
they
desk
do
jobs.
that?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, it frustrates the hell out of me because every year I'm sitting in my house and you get, you're not able to watch the tee off of Jack and of course Gary Player and Tom Wise. I don't think they had that live on ESPN. If they did, maybe I'll take that back at 8 a.m. And then they cut away and then they'll do the check-ins. No, just it's Thursday. It's day one of the Masters. Give it to me.
Yeah.
I want to tune in at 8 o'clock and I want Scott Van Pelt. I want, people up in the trees, people up on 18, people on 16. Let's call a damn event.
I'm with you. But like I said, not everyone can put on that TV and watch on a Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon or even a Friday afternoon. So it's for those people. But I heard people complaining about just because the aesthetic wasn't as good as maybe in years past.
On the app?
Yeah.
I was just frustrated. All right, so 1 o'clock rolls around, and that's when they're going live to coverage.
Yeah.
And they got Laura Rutledge just talking for 20 minutes. And
she's doing Masters coverage?
She's doing Masters coverage. Is that her first year this year?
She does it all.
Well, they bumped her up. She's earned it, yeah.
For sure. I just didn't know she was a good Jeff Darlington does Masters coverage.
Yeah, it's kind of forced with Darlington. Laura's good in and out. She's money.
She can do anything.
Yeah, I still prefer Scott Van Pelt. Like Van Pelt is slowly.
Well, he's top head honcho.
He is a golf guy, but at 1 o'clock, give me the head honchos.
Yeah, it's true.
It's my point.
It's true.
It's the Masters. If you're not ready to work 24 hours a day for 4 straight days down in Augusta, I give up.
Have you ever been to Augusta?
Have not. My mom lived in Augusta for a few years.
Really? Is it on the bucket list?
It's got to.
I mean, yeah, right.
My buddy Ethan is there right now from DraftKings. He's walking around with Bryson, who's 2 under.
Walking around with him?
Yeah, he's following Bryson today.
Is that just like an assignment, or he knows?
No. Like you can, you know.
Oh, when you get a ticket, you can follow a particular golfer.
Well, you know what time they're going off at.
Gotcha.
And,
yeah, I've never.
Yeah, me neither.
I want to go.
Look at this putt. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's money. That's money.
Terrell Hatton. That is just crazy. Undulation.
So Rory is 1 under. I see through 7. I took 2 guys, Latoris and Will's Latoris.
Oh, yeah, Zalatoris.
It's Zalatoris. Zalatoris. Okay.
Oh my God.
So much I know. And Xander. So those are the 2 guys I took. But I saw a stat that 18 of last Masters champions have been in the top 10 after opening day, after the first round.
Yeah, sounds
good. The 2 exceptions were Tigers, so those don't even really count. Yeah. So the winner's going to be in the top 10. So what I was thinking was once the day settles and I round out the top 10, I was going to take a live action guy. And it can't be Scheffler at this point. Rose's odds are probably going to be crazy, but I was going to look at it after the day finishes up, see who's in the top 10, and take someone live.
Ooh, Morikawa's about to break his putter right there.
Maybe DeChambeau. 2 under through 6.
Yeah, look, you know that this tournament is most of the time chalk. Like, you don't really ever see somebody come out of nowhere. You know who's who and what's what. And it's even more difficult with the live players added in. That adds an extra wrinkle to this madness. To me, it's Scotty Scheffler. It's to lose. Again, I know it's extremely difficult to go back-to-back, and this will be 3 out of 4 years, which is only done by Jack. But he is just such a difference maker. And if he is on, you're done. And he stepped out there.
Looks like he's on.
And he made he made a 60-foot birdie putt. And I'm just like, all right, if Scotty's doing that, you're done.
Yeah.
But Rose goes out there and is 6 under through 10. He's not even done. What is the round record at Augusta? We'll have to look that up because he's got to be approaching it. He's got to be right there. That is absurd, especially opening round. You know, it's one thing to say a round record. Look at these grades. That's what they do. So ESPN does such a great job of covering this event, giving you like
63.
63 is the opening round record, or just
a round record.
Round record 63. Could you imagine shooting 63 at Augusta?
Nope. Couldn't imagine shooting under 120 at Augusta.
My Lord.
All right. So, look, we'll jab you. We'll keep you up to date with, of course, everything that's happening in the world of golf, the Masters, all that. I do want to mix this in because you're here today. We got to talk a little bit about the national championship. Put the bow on it. Coming up a little bit later. A lot of beef on the program, or a lot of beef on the station. Today we got Ryan Beef Coyle. He joined me last night, recorded a little beef at night, so that's coming your way at 5 o'clock, where we did talk a little bit more about college basketball, even sprinkle a little college football in there as well.
And
So,
it really was beef and because there's some other things sprinkled in there as well.
yes, there is. We talked OnlyFans, kids, in this world that we live in now. And I will tell you why I brought it up.
Yeah, it was kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was. So first of all, I was like, I was looking for dumb stuff to talk about. So I found this. There is this lovely, lovely, lovely girl on my timeline.
It's three lovelies.
Yes, who is very nice and sweet and all that. And then, like about 2 months ago, I saw a tweet pop up. It's like, oh yeah, I haven't seen her in the timeline in a little while. Cool. She's social media, sports, bing bang boom, whatever. And I see the link.
Mm.
And
Good old link.
The link in the bio. And it's the OnlyFans link. And I just like, wow.
Can we say a name?
No, I don't. Because tweets are wrong. Like, I'm not here to talk down on somebody that is going. I will tell you this, as a father, it would be an interesting conversation. Because I don't know. It's such a slippery slope because there are girls out there that would just be like, "Oh, I'm at the pool," Boop. It's like, yeah, but then you get these people that are buying these, like,
Yeah,
it's such a slippery slope. That is the bare bones of this, right? Like, that's not even into the deep part.
I think that's a lot happens with a lot of like
They start there?
influencer girls. No, they start like on social media, get a little bit of a following,
Yes.
and then it's like, all right, like I'm making a little bit off brand
Now I
deals.
can do this little.
Let me,
subscription.
I look at my following. It's all dudes.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in the sports media space at all,
Yeah.
or in the sports space, it's gonna be all dudes who follow you. Let me get a little side action with OnlyFans and make hundreds of thousands off these horny guys.
It's so true.
So
It's
yeah,
so
that's the path a lot of times. But
Yeah.
like I said, there's levels to OnlyFans.
Yeah,
That's the conversation that you would have to have with your daughter.
and
it's
I would
level
just,
two.
I would just, and who knows what's now is not going to be big in 20 years from now. Hopefully not, but it's there is a lot of ramifications that we don't know.
Like what?
Well, look, I think like all these dudes, like things are more and more pointing at like dudes are just more and more lonely. Like,
Yeah.
don't talk. Like there's
Socialization.
no,
is
there's no
down.
interaction when you go
Yep.
out. Like
Yep.
a lot of people are trying not to go out anymore. Like there's everything's changing.
Problem with
more.
phones and social media, like
Yeah.
this has been written about a lot. It was even pre-COVID,
Yeah.
honestly. Like that it was trending in that direction where socialization was way down because people think being on their phones and scrolling social media is a form of socialization, but it's not
No,
at
it's
all,
not.
and it's so unhealthy,
Yeah.
especially for guys and girls. But like guys, look, male loneliness is like a real thing where it's like these people don't even have friends, they don't socialize, they don't go out, their life is in their little box on their phone. And it's
Yep.
pathetic and it's bad. It's not even their fault. It's just a lot of the world that kids are growing up in.
Getting deep. I like it. No, and what I would say is like we are all, burning up about, hey, this is a sports book in your hand, a casino in your hand. All right, and I get it because it goes right to your bank account and it's that easy to make fun. Well, the same thing. Like these OnlyFans, girls and guys, whatever, are probably like dropping them a line that's already made,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like, oh wow, she interacted with me.
Yeah.
Oh well, here's more money. And
That's-
here's more money.
yeah.
And here's more money. It's like, wait a minute. Well, what's going on right now?
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's really pathetic, honestly, for these guys. But
call a spade a spade. I like that. Yes, it is
Yeah.
pathetic.
it is. But in a lot of these girls, if you really have massive OnlyFans followings, you have assistants that are responding to these people.
Absolutely.
You're not even responding to these people.
No, yeah.
You're not even really interacting with anyone. And it's a problem. And it's a lot, like I said, it's a lot of these like older dudes, I think. I hope that it's these older dudes that are like just lonely.
Do you know
and-
any friends out there that subscribe?
No, but I know, but I also don't necessarily know if people would admit it.
Yeah.
I don't know if people would admit it.
Look, $3 is $3 a month. I don't have an issue.
It's all that stuff you can find for free.
You're right about that, boss.
So who is actually subscribing?
Yeah. Exactly. You are right about that, boss.
Yeah,
I'm all hot and bothered. I'm all sweaty over here talking about OnlyFans.
but
But
that's the thing. It's like there's levels to OnlyFans. Like some of it's acceptable and some of it is just not. Like
I do want to say that the girl that caught my attention, who I've been following because of sports takes, she does have fun with it. Now, I am not a subscriber.
good.
Okay.
You're a happily married man.
Happily married man that also has the World Wide Web at the palm of his hand. What? I would just say, like, she has fun. So, like, I'm not here to talk down upon anybody that's having fun or anything. I just, it's an interesting world when it comes to the world of OnlyFans and these stories where these girls are just making buku amounts of money, and maybe
I think it's
all.
exaggerated a lot.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
And like obviously the top people that everyone's seeing has millions of followers on Instagram, those people are making a lot. But I don't think everyone who has an OnlyFans is just making like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like I think there's a lot of people who have those and aren't really making real money because there's just I guess it's a lot of competition right now if everyone's just doing it. So I think those are oftentimes exaggerated. I don't know if people are making that much cash just because you have an OnlyFans.
I think, and to bring it over to the sports world, I believe there's like bookies out there. There's people that sell picks on OnlyFans. Did you see that?
No, I mean there's so many platforms you can sell picks on. Why would they use OnlyFans? Why don't you just go to Patreon like a normal person?
It's so it's so stupid. It is so stupid. But that's the world we live in. Anyways, yeah. So beef coming up a little bit later. We got into another thing. Wait, so just putting a bow on that conversation, you thought beef was a little bit fibbing last night.
Yeah, he's wrong. I mean, he's lying too.
Because I asked the question.
Ah, Lord.
I asked the question. I said, "What if you meet a girl? Saturday night, you're out in the pub. You socialize, boom, hit it up at the bar, get this girl's digits, maybe do some research. Next thing you know, she's got an OnlyFans link. Like, are you kicking the tires? Are you meeting up with her? If that you set that up,
you got to do some research.
Always,
and there's levels.
She's going to do research on you too.
Yes, of course, as she should. There's levels to it. So if you're getting dogged on camera, I'm out. like that's the line. Like if there's another person in those OnlyFans videos, that's enough for me. but if you're just someone who's like making a living,
I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes.
Yeah.
Thank you, James. If you're just making a living, posting pictures, and they're like, I don't know, bikini pictures or nothing that crazy, then that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I'd go out with that person.
All right.
How far that goes, we'd have to have that conversation.
Yeah, that's
but if you're just doing it, it is. But if you're just doing it like to make money and you're not showing that much, you're just posting stuff that other girls might post on like regular Instagram, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
no problem.
The DMs are being filled up. There's flirting going on in the DMs.
But if they're that attractive of a girl, their DMs are probably filled up anyway.
Yeah, you're right about that. I don't know. Maybe
and Beef was right. I don't know if me and him are getting that level of talent.
This is an interesting conversation. We're going to start weaving in Natalie Eganoff and into this station over the next couple of weeks. And this is definitely something that I think we should probably involve a.
So be our weekly OnlyFans segment.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like
because guys have it too. So I wonder what girls would think about like if a guy has one. It's way rarer. Wow. But guys have that stuff too.
What world are we in right now? Unbelievable. Crazy. Yeah, exactly. It's a crazy, crazy world. All right, where were we? NBA coming down the home.
There's sports being played. Can we talk some sports?
That's coming up later at 5 o'clock. You also have Swing It and Ding It at 6 o'clock. We got a lot to do here. All right. With that being said, let's talk some NBA real quick because it is the last call. Final week of NBA regular season action. Thank the good Lord above. Last night, Luka, talk to me. 45 points. There was a moment last night where I thought he was going to go 50 burger. Oh, by the way, 50 points last night. If he was able to get that, Luka was 13-1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. 13-1 for him to hit 50 points. He finished with 45. Mavs come out on top. A lot of really great conversational pieces coming out of this game. First and foremost, I still can't believe that I'm watching Luka in a Lakers uniform. That's where it starts and ends for me.
I'm with you. And this was I've kind of forgot about it. It's not like there was a time every day I woke up and I was thinking like, how the hell did the Mavs make that trade? And I kind of forgot about it for a little bit. And this was a good time to revisit it of like, what in the world were they thinking? And I've landed on this stance, and I've said it many times, that it wasn't a basketball move at all. It was a personal move by Nico Harrison. It was a personal move and a power play by Nico Harrison because he did not like Luka. He did not like Luka's circle and his orbit, and he did not like everything Luka brought. I don't care if you were to connect Nico Harrison to a lie detector's test. There is no reason or rationale he would give for this being a better basketball move for the franchise. None. It doesn't make sense even a little bit from a basketball perspective. To trade him, to not shop him, none of it. It doesn't make any sense from a basketball perspective. It was a personal power play move by Nico. And you really wonder if he regrets it or not, where he couldn't have anticipated. And this is where the ownership group gets into play, is they couldn't anticipate the emotional and mental toll it would take on the fan base, and how that can drip down to an organization, to the players of the organization. And it's going to be years. Forget the monetary the discussion, where they're going to be losing, and it was reported yesterday how many sponsors have cut the Mavs off, especially with Luka coming to town. But they're going to be losing millions and millions of dollars over the next few years. But the emotional toll to have on the fan base that will drip into the organization, this franchise will not recover for years and years, especially with Kyrie Irving probably not beginning next season healthy, with an often injured Anthony Davis. This was the worst decision in NBA history, and it was made by Nico Harrison, which makes him the worst executive in NBA history. And there's just, it's the ownership's fault. From the perspective of, they might not be basketball people. Sure, that's fine. Not all owners are. They're really rich guys who want to own sports teams. Fine.
Is a rich woman, right?
Yes, but Patrick Dumont is Miriam Edelman, and Patrick Dumont DuPont is he's involved. He's really the face of the ownership group.
Okay.
But not a sports guy. Definitely not a basketball guy. And to not anticipate or have any clue about your city's fabric and how much this star meant to your city, how he was Dallas's adopted son, and how much Luka meant to Dallas and that relationship, where they really thought of him as their hero, and he was on this hero's journey where it's like he was imperfect, but he was their imperfect superstar, and he was figuring it out together, him alongside the city, the only American city he's ever lived in. And to not understand the fabric of that relationship and just get rid of him. It's the worst move, not just basketball history, in sports history. They will never, for years, maybe decades, recover from this trade. It was that bad. And to see it all come together last night, where how much Dallas loved Luka, and they were chanting for the opposing team. I've never seen that in my life. All the NBA games I've watched, unless it's tanking or something along that nature, where the other team is audibly rooting for the opposing fan base is audibly rooting for the away team. You never, ever hear that. And it was a sad situation, but it was cool to see Luka ball out.
Yeah, two things from last night's game. First and foremost, the spread 4.5, Lakers favorite. Of course, they covered a number. It was tight, but 112.97, that was an easy play. And then Luka going over 31.5 was an easy play. We talked about it on the show yesterday. I absolutely love Luka as far as that number is concerned. I did not see the alternate number. I would have bid on 50, which he came up short. But 13-1, as Beef was laying out there, I thought that was worth a little slice of the pie as well. Before the game, Jason Kidd was joking with the media, talking about how this trade is now in the same conversation as Babe Ruth.
Yeah, I'm not sure he knows the history about that one.
Dude, what are you guys talking about? Yeah, everybody needs to be fired, especially after what took place last night. Anyways, here's Luke after the game talking about the fans.
It was a little bit of both, happy and angry, but it's nice to see some familiar faces here. I spent a lot of times with them. Like you said, it was a lot of emotions. When I woke up, I was tired. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't sleep much.
He's always tired.
I was excited about this game, and I really appreciate the fans, the way they reacted to me.
Yeah, my man's always tired, as Rory just hit a hell of a shot that got a nice kick there. Rory's going to get it going. He's only 1 under through 7.
What I'll say about Luka is it was pretty cool to see him wear his emotions on his sleeve, which he's done throughout his career. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't just crying.
Was he drunk? Kid, joking.
Nico Harrison probably assumes that he was.
Bartenders were fired up.
He was.
Luka's back.
The hookah bars in town.
The hookah lounge was popping last night.
But he wasn't just crying. I mean, his lip was quivering. Like, that was raw emotion.
He had tissues.
And he asked for a towel as he was watching the tribute video for him. And that's what makes him so special, is he wears emotion on his sleeve. And he wore it while he was watching that, and then he wore it while he was playing, where he just went one off for 45 in a classic return performance, one of the best return performances we've ever seen. He was incredible, and that's who he is. He's a killer on the court, but he's this emotional guy. And you see him jawing at opposing fan base all the time, like he did in Oklahoma City last week. You see him jawing at refs, jawing at opposing players when he has Rudy Gobert on an island, steps back, hits a big shot. That he's an emotional guy. In such a dichotomy from a guy like Nikola Jokic, who never wears he's been a little emotional as a leader recently, but he really never wears emotion. He cares, but he acts like he has this nonchalant approach. Luka's completely different. He wears his emotion on the sleeve, wore it on the bench watching that tribute video, and wore it throughout the game. And it was a really special moment that you're not going to see a lot in the NBA.
There's more from Luka after the game.
Like I said, post-game interview, after that video, I was like, there's no way I'm playing this game, It was so many emotions, and, I just went out there and just played basketball.
Yeah, he went out there and played basketball and looked like it was real easy to him, as he is one of the best players in the game we've ever seen. And then, of course, Luka, now, you ready to move on?
Everybody saw me the way I reacted to the video. All these fans, I really appreciate it, man. All the teammates I had, everybody had my back. I'm just happy, this guy, I love these fans. I love the city, but it's time to move on.
It's so sad because I don't think they're in the NBA right now. There was a better relationship between player and fan.
Really?
Look across the entire NBA. I don't know if it exists. Like, those guys loved each other. The fans to Luka and Luka to the fans. They have a. You think of it as a football town. They have a strong basketball presence and diehard Mavs fans.
MFFL.
And those exactly.
Yeah,
and
but
those
that's not
guys.
the one because half of them are Lakers fans now.
Yeah, but I'm saying they did. Like, from a fan base to player and player to fan base, that was probably the strongest relationship in the NBA, because there's not a lot of loyalty in the NBA anymore. No. So you don't really see, I can't even think of maybe Jokic and Denver fans, but can't really think of any other player to their fan base. Giannis, Bucks fans to an extent, but that might not last long. Luka was planning on staying his entire career there if it was up to him. And it's really just sad to see that fan base and that player relationship got imploded by some egomaniac, narcissistic executive who has no idea what he's doing and will be without a job in the NBA in the next 5 years.
Will be hired by the Lakers, though, immediately.
Probably Rob Pelinka will hire him. I mean, he should. He gifted him Rob Pelinka's lifeline for the next decade plus.
All right, so we got some NBA conversation to be had today. It's a great day to have Sam in. Obviously, every Thursday joins us here from The Score. We have a matchup that could potentially be a play-in game matchup that starts next Tuesday. That's going down tonight. A couple games in the association. We'll take a peek at there. I do have a Sixers question, believe it or not, a Sixers question that I need to pose to you. We will hit on that a little bit later. Also, we're going to put a bow on the college basketball season, talk a little bit about the Natty, and that's going to transition into the NBA draft. Speaking of the 76ers, we got a lot to discuss, folks. A lot going on as far as, and I'm having a lot going on my computer. I don't know what's going on here, but this plug now is completely shot. Anyways, I'll fix that during the break. Sorry, Sam. Anyways, just to let you know, kids, warm weather's on the horizon. Yes. And you know what that means? It's time for Rita's. Oh, they got the new Skittles joint out there. You a Rita's fan, Sam?
Love Rita's.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Water ice, lemon root beer combination.
RitasIce.com. Check out where a location is near you. Of course, springtime, warm weather. It means it's time for Rita's. And again, they got this new deal right now with the Skittles combination. I just went over the weekend. It was so good. I had to get one. I always try the new ones that they're rolling out for the season. So right here, right now, go ahead and take advantage of that sweet, tasty treat over at Rita's, and make sure you try the one with the Skittles. Who doesn't love some good Skittles in their Rita's? It's a different combination there, but it goes really well. Trust me when I tell you that. Again, locations, you know where they're at, but if you don't, check out RitasIce.com for a location near you. Daily Ticket rolling on. Sam Oshtry from The Score with me, full show. 5 o'clock, you're getting a little bit of Ryan Beef Coil. 6 o'clock, swinging and dinging. More after this.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
We're down the Schuylkill westbound University to Barton Boulevard to Belmont. Eastbound Heavy 202 to Gulf Mills Boulevard to Belmont. And Montgomery Drive to South 95 northbound, stopping at Gerard up the bridge. Southbound back to Carpenter Bridge and Ridley Park to 320. To tell a total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. Tick-tock on the tax clock. For expert tax prep, hurry into Jackson Hewitt before the April 15th tax deadline. Don't worry, they're open early, late, and on weekends. To beat the crowds and the clock, book today at jacksonhewitt.com.
Stay tuned to Fox PHL The Gambler for the latest CEOs you should know.
Sharia McRae, CEO of Foundation Academies.
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Are your money skills total trash? Well, you are not alone. Personal finance ignorance is as American as apple pie. But don't fret. The How to Money podcast is here to help you improve. Think about if your emergency fund was invested, especially given the volatility we're experiencing right now. Ouchie, investing, it is ultimately a necessity, but you got to keep that emergency fund accessible. It needs to be cash parked in your savings. It's time to increase your money knowledge. And the How to Money podcast is here to bring the wisdom. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search How to Money, and start listening today.
Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again. Because more people are listening to the radio on iHeart today than they were 20 years ago. And only iHeart Broadcast Radio connects with more Americans than TV,
2006,
digital,
Google bought
social,
YouTube
media.
0.65 billion.
Than TikTok. And that reach means everything.
YouTube just did 54.2 billion in revenue.
Consumers who hear your message times the response rate equals the results. Now let's get those results growing for your business. Radio's here now more than ever, and iHeart's leading the
Baylor
way.
commit
Think radio,
Tonde
connect your business.
Yamasufu.
Think iHeart.
Holy
Streaming,
shit.
podcasting, and radio, where the reach is real. Let us show you at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com. Or call 844-844-iHeart. One more time, just call 844-844-iHeart and get radio working for you.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
From the very beginning, iHeart has believed in me.
Even now, I still get excited when I hear one of my songs playing on the radio. Thank you, iHeartRadio, for honoring the truth I fought for in my music.
Because we believe in the power of music. All your favorite artists, all in one place. The free iHeartRadio app.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got 8 jobs, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's researchers deviated to the new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because of one thing then another. Don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. And then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at NissanUSA.com. Panoramic moonroof massage and other seats are available features.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No. Call Top Dog Law. Get Top Dog for your accident at TopDogLaw.com. Once again, that's TopDogLaw.com.
Oh, I know what's going on there.
All right, let's go. Let's put a bow in this college basketball season. Sam Oshtry from The Score. Of course, get involved in the conversation, having some fun to open up shop here on a Thursday. We'll get you back to some Masters coverage. Justin Rose, 6 under through 11. Scheffler, 68, 4 under. And Connors, the Canadian, also 4 under as well, 68 in the clubhouse. But Justin Rose is front and center of the story down in Augusta. 63 is the round record for Augusta for the Masters, and we will see what Justin Rose does over these next 6 plus holes, 7 holes, 6 because he's on 12, so that's what it is. All right, Sam, let's go ahead and put the bow on the college hoop season. What do you say here? First of all, pretty good college or pretty good national championship.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Until the last couple minutes, pretty good.
Then all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
Look, I combine it. I was saying it last night, the beef. I expect nerves to be an issue. I know these guys are getting older and they don't go to school anymore and class doesn't exist. And it's like these guys are professional athletes, but they're still young and they're going to make mistakes and butterflies will be in the system. So I wasn't surprised that shots weren't following and it was a lower scoring game. Again, Houston dictates pace. I think they could have done a better job at forcing their will, especially down the stretch in that second half. Maybe they got carried away shooting some threes. But all in all, Florida found a way to win the ball game, and I think they deserve a ton of credit. Walter Clayton Jr. could have very well, pouted and been non-existent in that second half like he was in the first half, but he kept his head down, kept battling, and they're champions right now. I think they deserve a ton of credit. Best team in the best conference, and I have no issues with Florida winning it all.
None. I mean, it was 4 of the best teams in the Final Four. So going in, it was like, let the best team win. Like, this is what we want. The 4 best teams in the country, the 4 best teams all season competing in the Final Four. And pretty electric matchups between the Final Four and the championship. And that's what happens when you don't have Cinderellas. You don't have some NC State team coming in as 11 seed that doesn't really deserve to be here. Yep. It's on a crazy run and just gets boat raced in the Final Four. Yeah, the 4 best teams, which is what you want. And when you have that, it's going to create an incredible Final Four and national championship. And that's what we had. I was pretty shocked by the result just based on how the game played out. If you had told me Houston was going to lead by 12, this mentally tough, resilient Houston team all season that had lost 1 game in the last 3.5 months, that they were going to sell a game like that. You see it from Duke. Like, I wasn't shocked by the Duke collapse just because you had 3 freshmen on the floor and they'd struggled in tight games all year and really didn't play a lot of tight games because of the ACC schedule. When you have a Houston team that played a bunch of tight games, played a pretty incredible schedule because they were in the Big 12 and was so experienced. Like, a lot of those guys had been there before and they were older veteran guys. For that team to collapse is maybe a stretch, but to sell of a 12-point lead late, that was shocking to me, especially because of how great they are defensively. Like, even if you're not scoring the ball, if your defense is that sound and that physical, you can get stops and that'll help you extend or at least maintain your lead. That didn't happen because Florida's offense just hit another gear and Florida defensively completely shut down Houston. So I was shocked that they sold that lead, honestly.
Yeah, 12 points with that type of defense and what they were able to do, dictating pace, of course, not getting shots from Walter Clayton Jr. And, what we've seen throughout the course of a 6-game stretch, 5-game stretch going into that national championship game where, look, who else is scoring for Florida? They have good players, don't get me wrong, but Walter Clayton was the guy.
Yeah.
And you just, at halftime, you had a decision to make. It was a 3-point game. What do you think is going to happen in this second half? Houston forgets how to play defense, and all of a sudden Florida makes all their shots, or Houston finally hits a couple 3-pointers? Because that was the thing that kept Florida in the game in the first half. Houston wasn't making anything. And I give all the credit in the world for Florida hanging around. But when I asked that question at halftime, I just felt like defense was going to be the premium and be the reason why Houston would come out on top. Again, I was pot committed because of my Florida ticket, and I believed, and I still can't believe they won. That money hit the account, the DraftKings account afterwards, after the game, and it's just like, how?
Yeah.
The same type of vibe I had on Saturday night when Duke lost. And the money left my account, like how? But a great run, great national championship game, great Final Four. And I just look at what Florida was able to do throughout the course of 6 games, trailing them 4 out of 6 of them, down by double digits against Texas Tech and in that national championship game against Florida, down by 9 against Auburn, and winning all of those games. I think I sent it to the group chat. It was like 85%. DraftKings had a nice tweet yesterday where they bottled up all of the winning percentages of there it is. Florida had an 85% chance or more to lose in the final 3 games leading up to their national championship win.
Yeah, that's incredible resiliency, and it's really impressive.
Looks like our stock market
down and then up a little bit,
down again.
Yeah, I haven't even checked today.
Don't.
That bad. All right, forget it. I will say Florida's resiliency was so impressive considering Todd Golden hadn't won an NCAA tournament game coming into the season. And that's why people were picking against them. I mean, they were a popular national championship pick, but I thought they were vulnerable against UConn. I thought they were vulnerable against Maryland before the Maryland coaching stuff happened, because Todd Golden had never won an NCAA tournament game coming into the season. So that's what's so impressive, is that they were the more mentally resilient group than Houston even was. And that's because of everything they went through throughout the tournament, where it's like Texas Tech, they had no business winning that game when they were down 9. UConn, even, they came back against the back-to-back national champion. Maryland, it was a good game at halftime, then Florida pulls away. Auburn, they come back down trailing 8 at halftime, trailing a little more in the second half. And then, of course, we know they come back from down 12. And they are just so clutch, so resilient. And Todd Golden and his staff deserve all the credit. I mean, the guy isn't even 40 years old.
39.
And he already has a national championship. Like, the sky's the limit for him and that entire staff and his team, especially with how they develop players and recruit guys who are under recruited, guys who aren't necessarily big names. There was no 5-stars who played in the national championship, and no freshmen too. So these are programs that recruit under-recruited guys and develop them well and build a system around their personnel, and they do it at the highest level possible. So Florida's a worthy national champion.
Are we looking at a situation like it's Tony Bennett, where he gets the one and that's it, and then retires 15 years later? Or do you think Golden in Florida?
Tony Bennett got the one 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
He's only won one national championship, right?
Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
Yeah. In 2019, he won.
Yeah.
And then he retired like 4 years later, but he was older.
But you're right. Let me rephrase that. Do we look at Golden and Florida as a force in the next year, and let's go next 5 years? Do you think they'll get another national champion? Do you think they'll compete for another national champion? Will the SEC be as good next year as it was this year? And moving on
is a different question, because of the revenue sharing that's going to exist in college athletics now.
True.
Where players and the basketball teams are going to get a piece of the pie, and you have to share that with football, and that's up to each school and each athletic program to decide.
Unless you're Villanova.
Exactly. Well, that's the point, is that the SEC is competing with the best football programs in the country.
Fair.
So they're going to get less piece of the pie than schools like the Big East or even the Big 12, who has great football teams, but not to the extent that the SEC or Big 10 have. So that's why the Big 12 is such an attractive conference right now. And Villanova was a really attractive job. So I don't know about in the future, but for the foreseeable, for the next couple years or so, I would say the SEC is going to be a dominant conference. Like, this isn't a necessarily super new phenomenon. The last couple of years, the SEC has been really good. And when you have great coaches, that's more important than anything. And you have Calipari, stayed in that conference, obviously. Todd Golden now on the come up, and I could just go down the line of the great coaches. Bruce Pearl sticking around, and when he leaves, his son Stephen Pearl will take over. So there's just the best coaches in that conference, and that's really what makes programs.
Yeah.
So I think the SEC will be around for a long time. I think this Florida program, as long as Todd Golden is there, who's obviously a phenomenal developer of players and people, really, and certainly a great coach, a great analytical mind. As long as he's there, and he's just turning 40 soon, Florida's gonna be around for a while.
You say developer. Why do you say that? Because you're definitely right about the analytics. We know his background, I believe, came from Columbia, right? Columbia, then Columbia, Auburn,
assistant at Columbia,
joined Bruce Pearl and head of advanced analytics department for Bruce Pearl, then goes to San Francisco, gets the gig in Florida in 22. So why do you say he's a great developer, though? Let me ask you that.
I mean, just what he was able to do with Walter Clayton, who was a highly touted prospect coming to a high major. Obviously, Rick Pitino wanted him, but no one thought he was this. I mean, what he did with Walter Clayton, Elijah Martin was already pretty established at FAU. Will Richards, there's all these guys. Alex Condon, even, who had a great national championship, I thought, 12.7 boards. All these guys weren't highly touted prospects or recruits, and he turned them in, put them in the great positions, and they run an NBA offense, which is why I've loved this team all season, is because they run an NBA offense where they run a ton of their bigs are great passing bigs, and they have them operate as hubs, and they run a ton of off-ball action with the other guys flying around, cutting, a lot of dribble handoffs, a lot of pick and roll. They run a lot of NBA type actions. So that's why I think you're going to be properly developed if you're a player in a system running that type of stuff. And I just really like what he did with all these players in terms of turning them into increasing their draft stock
Yeah.
and just turn them into national champions.
Walter Clayton is as high as 12 in a mock draft I saw.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. I think once we remove ourselves from the craziness of the March Madness run, we'll get back to like the late first round. I think it definitely played him into the first round of this run. But once you remove yourself when the draft comes around in a couple months, I wouldn't be so sure he's going to be a top lottery pick.
I gotta give you some credit though, because and forgive me because I never want to rip anybody off of their proper praise, but you were the first one that I remember brought up Florida.
Yeah,
as a national champion.
I did after that Kentucky game.
I think there was like our first show running together. It was like right around when college football was winding down.
It was January. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it was even earlier than that.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I thought it was.
It could have been.
And you were like, because the general question was like, catch us up. It might have been. You're right. It might have been January. The original question was something along the lines of like, hey, if we're catching people at the college hoops right now, what's a team? Who do you think has a chance to win it all? And you were like, Florida.
Yeah, so I had a 16-1 ticket, but the reason why I wasn't that excited about it because I did split the ticket with someone. So we didn't really win that much money.
Split the 16-1.
Yeah,
Take me on the inside.
It was really more just like
did you put $100 on it and go 50-50?
It was a guy who can't. No, we didn't put that much. It was a guy who can't bet.
Oh.
Because of a state he lives in.
Makes sense.
And so we wanted to go together, and I was like, all right, who's our national champion?
Give the state.
I don't want to give too many details.
There's only 30. There's 20 states you can't wager in right now.
He's in a state that you can't wager in. I'm not exposing his identity.
What fun is that? Move, dude. What are you doing?
And so we wanted to go in on a national champion ticket together.
Yeah.
And I just was in love with this Florida team after watching them against Kentucky. It was 106-100 game. Like the score was 106-100 against Kentucky, and I was like, yo, this offense is wild. Like what they run and how they just have their bigs operate as hubs, and how they can just are phenomenal passing bigs, like you see with a Jokic, with an Embiid, with an Alperen Sengun in the NBA. It was so impressive, and I thought their guards were like NBA shot making guards, which we saw with Walter Clayton. So I just fell in love with that offense, and I was like, all right. So we split the ticket because I was like, all right, let's just pick a national champion at this point. It was 16-1. We didn't really throw that much on it, so I didn't really think too much about it. But yeah, it hit. It hit.
Yeah, I would have been the guy going crazy if Duke ended up winning it, but unfortunately they came up small, came up short. Oh well. Just real quick on this, and I don't get too bogged down with this stuff because we got a long way to go and people change and who knows who ends up where. But right now on DraftKings, Duke is the front runner to win it all next year.
Yeah.
So they're getting the Boozer twins.
Yeah.
And I just watched one of them hit a game winner in high school.
They're both really good. One of them could be the number one pick in the draft next year.
Wow. How the hell are you twins and one could be better than the other?
What do you think they're going to be comparable?
Do they play the same position?
Kind of, yeah. Like similar size.
But you're
one's
twins.
more of a combo guard.
You're identical twins. They're identical too.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean necessarily the same.
Yeah, but let me ask you this.
If one works harder than the other, the one's going to be better. I don't know the ins and outs of the Boozers.
That's a tough pill to swallow if you're the brother that doesn't get picked number one. Oh, he better be at least
No, because think about Asar and Amen Thompson. Those guys were,
That's
I think,
true.
picked 5 and 6 or 5 and 7 maybe.
But okay, that's good.
And they're both having incredible success in the NBA. Yeah. So it's like root for your brother.
Yeah. Oh no. It's just funny. The trash talk, I would say.
There's more Cooper Flagg's younger brothers like playing low Division I. I think he's a year older than Cooper Flagg.
It's crazy. So with Duke, are they just reloading? Are they getting who's staying? That's the issue I have is like because you're losing Cooper Flagg, you're losing Knipple, Malowak. I should know how to say his name because he's going to be drafted here.
Top 10.
They're losing 3 big pieces there.
Yeah.
Replacing with the Boozer brothers.
Replace with the Boozer brothers.
Proctor's staying?
That's the big question mark.
Oh.
If Proctor's staying or not. I don't necessarily know. I don't have any insight on that right now. But they're obviously going to. They just have a war chest of funds at Duke. So they're going to recruit in the transfer portal really well. And they'll get some big name transfers to surround those freshmen with, which I hope they go a little older. They'll always get one of, if not the best, freshman class, and they'll always have funds to get transfers. I hope they go a little older next year. If you are a Duke fan, you should hope that.
Yeah.
But there's more veterans. You're not relying that much on freshmen because the Boozers are great, but they're no Cooper Flagg. So we'll see what they do in the transfer portal, but it's Duke, so they'll always be towards the top of the odds board.
All right, Sam Oshtry from The Score hanging with us. Next hour, we'll squeeze in some baseball talk once again. Phillies and Braves. That is the big topic of the day here in Philadelphia. Braves are a -125 favorite Luzardo on the mound for the Fightins. That's a little intriguing number there. 7.5 is our total in this one. Of course, we opened up shop talking about Trey Turner going yard, Bryce Harper going yard last night. More of that. Concerns right now with Bohm and Marsh. I know that we have come to love these guys and enjoy, like I'm not trying to say that I'm out on them at all, but they are definitely going through significant stretches right now where they're searching for answers. And I'm wondering, is this one of those deals where you just have to roll with the punches? There's no really other answers in the minors at this point in time that are going to come up and help, right? You got Rojas, of course, that could be mixed in as far as the outfield is concerned, but Bohm is the guy, and he needs to find his stride. That's for damn sure. And pretty soon here, it would be better off than not. I think we're all in agreement on that one. Anyways, we'll talk a little bit more about Phillies and, of course, Major League Baseball in the 4 o'clock hour. We have some live action to update. Also have some other odds and ends in the NBA world we need to get to as we are in the last call of the NBA regular. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lord. Finally here, last
best
call
time of year when the playoffs are around.
of the NBA. This is not the best time of the year.
It will be very shortly.
These spreads are absurd. The fact that the Sixers are still
There's
playing
also some
games.
really important matchups down the stretch.
Yes, there is. And the fact that the Sixers won last night, too. Come on, man. Let's go.
They're locked in the 5.
I know they are locked, but I just want them to continue to lose. I want them to continue to lose. Hey, so we'll hit that. I do want to go and shout out some folks, though, because speaking of baseball, and last night we hit it. But our friends, the big rage over there at Citizens Bank Park, or maybe you don't know, is those bats that everybody is drinking out of down at Citizens Bank Park. Are you aware of these bats, right? Big old bats. And Coopersburg Sports are the folks that have been supplying Citizens Bank Park with those novelty bats. And definitely pick one up next time you're at Citizens Bank Park. Well, the fine folks over at Coopersburg Sports sent me a bat last night. We did some unboxing at the studio, the home studio, as I was live with Beef. And I sent it home with Beef because I know it's going to get some more. It will get more run.
It's very nice
with Beef. And them Hector boys are going to do more with that big old bat. Nice Phillies bat. And the cool thing about it, man, they had the indentation, like the marks for your fingers when you hold it.
Wait, what's it made of? Not glass.
It's plastic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's plastic. Yeah. And it's a big old bat, man. This thing is huge. And I was like, it's got to be a 24 ouncer. Has to be 24 ounces.
It fills 24 ounces of beer?
I think so.
Really? It looked like skinny.
It was a big bat.
Wow.
Yeah, really cool. Definitely pick one up next time you're down there at Citizens Bank Park. And once again, give the folks over at Coopersburg Sports a follow on Instagram. Doing a great job. And, of course, hooking us up, man. We appreciate that. And shout out Luke Arcani getting that going because his tweet, even though he lost his account last night, his tweet was all over the place because of the addition where you can put it on a stand this year at Citizens Bank Park. So good stuff there. All right, 4 o'clock hour on the other side. More Daily Takeback after this. Great news. The cash contest is back. The Gambler wants to put some bonus bucks back in your pocket. All you have to do is keep it locked right here to the Gambler, and at the top of every hour starting next Monday, listen for the keyword and get over to our website, foxphlgambler.com, and enter to win $1,000. That's 9 times a day. Nobody does the cash contest like the Gambler.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
CEOs you should know, brought to you by Comcast Business.
Sharia McCray, the proud CEO of Foundation Academies in Trenton, New Jersey. Foundation Academy is a K-12 charter school in the city of Trenton. Our mission is to empower our scholars to excel in learning and lead purpose-filled lives through pushing for excellent quality instruction every single day. And so what that looks like at Foundation Academy is ensuring our scholars have everything from food and shelter to enrichment activities and tutoring and sports, college tours and field trips, equipping them and opening the door for opportunity and access for every single scholar to pursue their passions, whatever that might be. During this time that we're living in, there's a lot of fears and a lot of uncertainties. But the one thing everyone can be certain about is the opportunity to impact the life of a child. At Foundation Academy, we're always calling on folks who want to be a part of that, who want to have the impact, have the heart for children, because they're not just our future, they're our today. Join us in this movement to really change lives through education. You can visit us on our website at www.foundationacademies.org.
Comcast Business, the complete connectivity solution, cybersecurity, internet, and mobile, all from one provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
Tick-tock on the tax clock for expert tax prep. Hurry into Jackson Hewitt before the April 15th tax deadline. Don't worry, they're open early, late, and on weekends. To beat the crowds and the clock, book today at jacksonhewitt.com.
This is 11-year NBA veteran Katina Mobley. This is what's trending from iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Thrivent.
Golf's first major of the year is underway in Augusta, Georgia. Scottie Scheffler looking to defend his title at the Masters. The Phillies, they'll go for a series win tonight in Atlanta. Left-hander Jesus Luzardo starts on the mound for Philly in search of his third win in as many starts. And Penn State will play in their first ever Frozen Four tonight in St. Louis. Nittany Lions will face five-time national champion Boston University. I'm Scott Davidson.
At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than money. It's a way to support the people, causes, and community you love. Because the most important thing isn't what you're planning for, it's who. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Currently on the Vine Expressway, both ways, Schuylkill 95 northbound Jan. Vine Expressway up to Bridge. Schuylkill eastbound heavy 202 to Gulf Mills, Blue Ridge to Belmont, and Montgomery Drive to south. Westbound Carling University to Warden Boulevard to Belmont. Fire to tell a total traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay. Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at the prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today by calling 844-844-iHeart. That's 844-844-iHeart.
A landscaping pro's workday is measured in power per hour. More work in less time. That's why the pros prefer Echo outdoor power equipment. Echo's best-in-class chainsaws, blowers, and string trimmers make light work out of the toughest work days. It's time your crew upgraded to Echo Power. Experience Echo Power for yourself at Laurel Lawn Mower in Blackwood, New Jersey. Visit laurellawn.com or call 856-228-2770 to learn more. Echo. Power on and on.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check for your wallet first before hitting the drive-thru.
$6.
Sorry, forgot my wallet. I have change, though. Here's 40 cents, another 40. Ooh, a bicentennial.
What's that?
Oh, gosh.
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This weekend, only at Macy's, it's our lowest prices of spring. How low? Diamond rings, pendants, and earrings, only $399, originally $1,500. Ninja blenders, now $89.99. And $395 men's designer suits, only $99.99. So if you're wondering why you should shop Macy's lowest prices sale, well, the name pretty much says it all. It's our lowest prices for one weekend only. Going on now at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Number 1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WDAS and WD273D Philadelphia is Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler.
Daily Ticket with you here, Sam Oshtry, Sean Brace. Yes, indeed, having some fun here, and we're in the uncomfortable part of the calendar, and I hate it because it's cold one week, hot one week, that sort of deal. The buildings, and I know everybody is dealing with this as well. Like these buildings don't know how to operate. Right. So right now, like the heat is on, it's blasting and it's like 100 degrees in this studio. Last week, it was like freezing in this studio. It's just like, all right, we got to be consistent. That's what we need right now. We need consistency as key.
We just get like the warm weather. When the Masters are on, it should be warm outside, not 40
Amen
degrees
to that.
out. Bring back global warming. I kind of like
Hello. Amen to that. I do want to hit on Kevin Willard. Of course, taking the new gig as far as Villanova is concerned. Did you see what he said yesterday?
He said a lot yesterday.
Said a lot yesterday, but at the same time, his quote was...
I should probably say less.
There you go. Yes,
Yep.
yes, coach, yes. And that is a lesson for all. I saw Prop Swap is in this deal. Are you aware of what Prop Swap is?
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what's going on with Prop Swap, but they're in the news in the sports gambling industry, simply based to a ticket. And for those that don't know, Prop Swap is essentially, okay, Sam has a 90-1 Florida Gators championship ticket. He purchases it in September to win a national championship in football. All of a sudden, December rolls around. He can now sell that on Prop Swap. Somebody will come in and buy it, and therefore, take it off his hands with the idea that they negotiate a price, so on and so forth. So Prop Swap, long-winded, had an issue with the Philadelphia Eagles bet, I believe, and it was just able to work itself out yesterday. But the seller, sent it as a number that did not involve taxes or after it paid out, and that's not how PropSwap operates. So they claim it was just an error and an innocent error by all, and they're hoping that an honest mistake, everybody can let bygones be bygones and move on, but that's not the case. Anyways, I'm bringing them up because they came out with such a statement yesterday that I was just like, you guys are vomiting all over the paper on this. Like, you're saying too much. Like, first of all, handle that in-house, A.
Yeah.
B, if you are going to make a statement, don't come out and say, this is the quote. It is important to remember that PropSwap is not a sports book, and we do not guarantee winnings. Both knots, capital letters. This is why buyers get better odds than a traditional sports book quite consistently, because you are buying from other gamblers, not PropSwap. Quote, we are eBay, we are StubHub, we are StockX, and rest assured, fraud happens on those sites daily at a far greater rate than at PropSwap. You guys are talking way too much. Too much.
So they're arguing that it's on the seller. And then they're just the middleman.
Yeah.
They can't control if the seller is fraudulent.
And oh, by the way, we're talking about a $6,000 difference. Maybe, to take a hit as far as PR is concerned, bite the bullet, come up with $6,000, make everybody happy.
Yeah.
Your PropSwap. You've been doing it pretty well for the last couple of years. That stood out to me a little bit yesterday, and they just keep it going. Again, less is more, kids. Less is more. One man's take. That's all. Hashtag. All right. I do want to hit some other fun stuff here real quick. And not OnlyFans. That's coming up at 5:00. Where beef lies through his teeth.
He did it for the whole 3:00.
He tells me, he says,
we're running back.
He thinks I have a subscription now.
I saw his text.
Only one?
Whoa. Hey, now.
I mean, $3 a month. Come on. That's a cup of coffee.
Is that an admittance?
I'm helping out. I don't even know where to start. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Sounds like you don't know where to end.
Let me give it to you.
My Lord.
Nice work on that. There was also another joke about ending, but we'll leave that for another day. Let's go ahead and do this. All right. First of all, I got a new toy around the household, and I want to tell you that this toy has brought so much.
My mind is so in the gutter.
Yeah.
Now. We need to. We need to get back to sports.
This toy has brought me so much joy.
My Lord.
I have been wanting a blower.
Jesus Christ. I gotta walk out of the studio.
A leaf blower for the last 2 years of my life. And I never just went out and bought one for some odd reason. Well, I did this weekend, Sam. And let me tell you, a leaf blower is as good as advertised as a homeowner. If you're a homeowner and don't have a leaf blower,
my Lord,
you're doing it wrong. All right. I promise you, I have been blowing leaves all over for the last 2 weeks.
Are there leaves on the ground right now?
Yeah, some leaves.
40 degrees.
Yeah, like scraps coming in.
I thought it was a fall thing. Why would you get, when the summer's about to start, why would you get a leaf blower now?
Well, look, you got everything. Everything's just coming in. Wind's blowing. It's howling all day, every day.
It's true.
I'm getting, my garage is getting, the build up of all whatever it is. You just go out there and hit the sidewalks. I'm telling you, you got to get a leaf blower. A leaf blower as a homeowner is a number one necessity.
All right.
Game changer.
I'll keep that in mind for 20 years down the line when I own a home.
There you go. Exactly.
Especially with the way my accounts are taking a hit right now.
Don't worry. Everybody's in the same boat on that one. The leaf blower has definitely changed the game. Love it. Absolutely needed it. Went out and got it. And my wife was like, look, you've been talking about it. Yeah, go buy one. The only issue I'm having right now with this leaf blower is the battery. Like, it's battery operated. And you're out there for a good 20 minutes with the leaf blower, it dies. Like, the battery's only good for 20 minutes. So it was my big issue. Anyways, I bought American, if you're wondering about that too as well. So keep it in the country. Also, stupid stuff. We're just having some fun here. Absolutely hitting on some stupid stuff. Let's see here. Over to the NBA from last night. There you go. We'll get back over to sports for you. And I know we brought up the 76ers did win last night. But all eyes are on front and center, the NBA draft. Brought this question up last night to Beef as far as if the 76ers picked fifth, and we know the Cooper Flags will be gone. We're pretty sure Ace Bailey's going to be gone. Did you know Ace's first name?
It's not Ace. I don't know if it's not Ace. What is it? Are you double checking?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Airious. Arius?
Arius? Like what's those like symbols where if you're like an airy, girls love.
I like that.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
No, I do know.
Yeah, like
I didn't
airy.
know that though. I'd never heard of Arius.
I think it's one of those months.
Ace is a strong name. As a guy that was trying to cook up a boy's name, my baby boy coming May 15th, 051525.
Wow. We're getting really close.
Oh, dude, we're knocking on that door. Yeah, he's coming soon. Ace is a strong name. I like Ace. Arius, though, is his first name. Anyways, as far as top 5 pick is concerned, you're picking 5th overall. Say to 76, you're locked into that spot. Is there a player that they cannot miss on? Is there a player that they need to take maybe as far as a little bit of a reach? Maybe you could see him going 9th or 10th, but you really like this player, this fit. Do you take best available, no matter the fit, no matter the position, as far as number 5 overall for the 76ers, if that's where they are picking in the upcoming NBA draft?
Yeah, I think you go best available. But with that being said, I also think that you should probably look at some front court depth because you kind of have your backcourt. Like I know a lot of mock drafts have them getting Trea Johnson from Texas, who I think is going to be a really good NBA player. But you have a McCain-Maxey backcourt, which this offseason we will be discussing if that's problematic.
What about Grimes?
With how, probably him too.
And Grimes was at the baseball game with the boys.
Yeah, that potentially means something. I think he definitely could stick around next year. But McCain-Maxey would be your starting backcourt, and it is a little problematic. And we'll have this discussion as the summer comes and next season approaches. How small that backcourt is, especially when you get into playoff matchups where all it is in the playoffs is just targeting weak links defensively and taking advantage of mismatches. A backcourt that small is not ideal at all. But so Trea Johnson is a really good player, and I think you take best available. I also would look more towards front court depth, and there's a guy out there who was 5 at one point after his big shot over Colorado State in a bunch of mock drafts. Now he's hovering around the top 10, and that's Derek Queen, who I think would be a perfect fit with Joel Embiid because of how great of a passer he is. Like he can play the 4 and 5. His jump shot needs to develop, especially if he's going to play the 4. But you see so many 4s in today's NBA not necessarily be able to shoot the ball, but when they have great vision, you can stretch the floor with your vision. And if you're a really cerebral player, then that really helps as well. Like a guy like Aaron Gordon, even. Who Derek Queen isn't as athletic as Aaron Gordon, but he is a smart type of player, a guy who can play in the dunker spot. Derek Queen is brilliant footwork, great vision, smart player, can see the floor develop, his great handle for his size too. Questionable defender. That's the big thing with him. Very questionable defender, especially guarding on the perimeter. There's times where I would like to see him rebound, put a little more effort into rebounding. But in terms of pairing with Joel Embiid, and I don't even know if you want to factor him into your future at this point, I think Derek Queen would be a good pair just because how great of a passer and how great of a touch he has. When you have good touch and you're a good foul shooter like he has been, you can develop a 3-point shot. And if he develops a 3-point shot, the sky's the limit for him offensively.
He's a big dude, man.
He is.
He's a big dude. I like him a lot. And he's young. So I just think, for us to sit here and say like, anything that will he be in his best shape? Is he one that's going to hit the ground running? Is it a little bit of a project early? Like all that. I'm not to say that is being said, but he is a big boy.
Yeah.
And I think he would have to slim down just a little bit.
He's not fat.
Not fat.
But there are times where he looks
husky.
He's also not like husky. Like
husky's not a good word.
I mean,
he's thick. My boy is thick.
Sure. But
he is tall as hell.
He is really tall. And there's times where it looks like he's, I don't want to say out of shape, but not putting as much hustle and effort into running back on defense, into boxing out, grabbing boards that throughout the season that you'd like to see more of in the NBA. And we'll have to improve on that. But I just love passing bigs. Like when you're passing bigs who can put the ball on the floor and handle it with touch around the rim. Those guys always have places in the NBA, and those guys usually have long careers coming out of the draft. So when you have that intangible skill set in place, you can work with that guy. You can develop more of a motor. You can develop a jump shot. You can work with him to be in better positions defensively as he grows and plays more seasons at a higher level. So I always will bank on those type of guys.
Okay. We'll see what happens there. Again, NBA draft right around the corner, but of course we got the playoffs to get into. And speaking of the playoffs / play-in, tonight we have a potential matchup in the plans. First of all, Detroit, they're getting back. Ivy's coming back tonight, I want to say. They're taking on the Knicks this evening. So it seems like Detroit. Are we giving Detroit any opportunity to maybe shake things up in the playoffs?
No. Well, Bernard is. He thinks they're going to beat the Knicks.
Because they're going to
I don't buy it.
What if they beat the Knicks tonight?
Won't mean anything to me.
Okay.
We're talking about the playoffs, and I think we do this a lot when we enter the playoffs. Is we discount how much experience matters. The playoffs are a completely different beast and different game,
especially at MSG.
Season. Yeah, and when you haven't played in the playoffs, you have a lot of players, young players who haven't played in the playoffs, like you're going to be relying on with Cade and Asar Thompson and Jalen Durant and all those guys. It's really hard to win any series against teams with a ton of playoff experience because every night you're making adjustments from game to game. The defense is so zoned in, taking away your strengths and trying to heighten your weaknesses. Like playoff basketball is just a different beast. It's all like you're just hunting matchups and mismatches time and time again. And the Pistons will obviously hunt Jalen Brunson, and they also have Karl-Anthony Towns, which is who's going to be hunted constantly in the playoffs because those are the Knicks' two weak links defensively. But experience matters. If you have an experience playing certain coverages from a game-to-game basis, having coaches make adjustments on you from a game-to-game basis, you haven't experienced all that in a playoff series and a playoff battle, it's just really hard to win a 7-game series in playoffs. And the Knicks have that experience and the Pistons do not at all. And so I think the Knicks are the better team as is from just in terms of their talent and their roster from basketball perspective. But the experience factor is really what does it for me.
No, you're right. And it's hard to pick against the Knicks because of, just look at everything they have. I realize that, they seem to be gettable this season. It hasn't been, has it lived up to their expectations? I would say no, because they haven't beat Boston or Cleveland, right? Like it's just they're a tier below those guys. So I don't think it's lived up to the expectations. You went out and made crazy moves not to be the third best team in the conference.
I think you didn't expect this from Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland has won 63 games.
You should be better than Cleveland.
Expect that from Cleveland.
Should be better than Cleveland.
You would expect them to win, I think, closer to 55 games. But look, rather than the Knicks are going to finish with 51 or 52 wins. They were without Brunson for a month.
That's fair.
Karl-Anthony Towns missed around 10 games. Not a lot of depth. Mitchell Robinson didn't come back until very late into the season. I would say we kind of taken what the Knicks are for granted. And I have a story coming about the Knicks tomorrow.
Ooh.
Kind of how a little bit undervalued at this point.
Ooh. As to what?
See, because they won 50 games in back-to-back seasons.
Okay.
And last year was the feel-good story of the NBA because nobody thought Brunson would be this. Now we just expect Brunson to be a top 10 player. Now we expect Josh Hart to be the best rebounding guard in the league.
That's what comes with winning.
I understand that, but now nobody's talking about them, and they're just an afterthought. And they've been worse than the Celtics and Cavs this year.
Yes.
Celtics are the cream of the crop, the favorite in the East, even if they're not the 1 seed.
100%.
0-4 against Celtics, not great. The Cavs, Jalen Brunson didn't play one of those matchups. And then the other matchup was back in October. Okay. I don't care about any basketball game that's played in October.
Totally fair.
We're talking about April going into May basketball now. And they'll play the Cavs to finish the regular season. Not sure how much that game will matter. I'm not necessarily convinced that the Cavs are that much better than the Knicks. I just think people aren't talking about the Knicks in the same respect because the feel-good story is over. Like Jalen Brunson isn't this underdog anymore. He's an established top 10 player, top 10 to 12 player in this league. We'll see, and they're going to be playing the Celtics in the second round. So if they get bounced in the second round to the eventual NBA champion, the defending NBA champion, I don't think that's necessarily an indictment on what the Knicks have been.
I don't know what it is.
Their offense, look, they sacrificed defense for offense, and they're not as good of a rebounding team offensively, especially offensively rebounding, and they're definitely not as good of a defense, but they're on a phenomenal offense. It's probably still the best offensive starting lineup in the league.
You say undervalued. What exactly does that mean, though, in the betting terminology? And where is the play with them? Let me ask you that.
It's tough because I think they're around plus 1,000 right now to win the East, maybe plus 800, 900, and it's really a 2-horse race between
8-1,
8-1 plus that interest. It's a 2-horse race between the Cavs and the Celtics. And the only tough part is that I'm not going to pick the Knicks against the Celtics.
No.
And they'll play the Celtics in the second round. my thing is the Cavs should not be as should not have whatever the Cavs odds are, like 2-1, something around that.
Yeah,
like
plus 200.
Yeah, so they're 2-1. The Knicks should not be that much below the Cavs.
Okay,
that gap is much smaller than people believe, and I understand what happened in the regular season, how great the Cavs were, even though they've been slipping over the last few weeks, which is expected as they just wait for the playoffs to roll around because they clinched the 1 seed pretty much. But I just don't think the gap is that big between those teams, and they won't play in a series because the Knicks have to run into the Celtics. I still believe this Knicks team has been awesome this year, and kind of everyone's just taking it for granted. Like Karl Anthony Towns is going to be on the second team All-NBA. Like Jalen Brunson is also going to be an All-NBA. We're kind of just taking for granted what this Knicks team has become.
It's interesting you say it like that because I'm not taking it for granted. I just know that they're not in the conversation of the next level teams. And that's why, and to me, it's a little disappointment. When you go out there and you make the moves you did this offseason, I think we need to.
They have the 5th best record in the NBA. Like what do you want from this team? I get they made a splash, and it was like, all right, you should be immediately competing for championships. They have the 5th best record in the NBA.
It's hard to argue.
Brunson just missed almost a month.
You're right about that.
So, like, what exactly do you want from this team? If they're in the West, I think they're the 2nd best team in the West.
Sean Bernard checking in. People,
I was hoping he was listening.
Started,
I was hoping he was listening. I'm excited to talk about this with him when the playoffs roll around next week.
People aren't talking about the Knicks the same way because they took a step back. They are 0-9 against top 3 teams. They won't beat the Pistons. Now, I want to go that far against the Pistons.
The 0-9 thing, look, they're not close to the Thunder, so I don't really care if they're 0-2 against the Thunder. I told you what happened with the Cavs. One of those games was in October.
Yeah.
The other one, I'm
7-game series against the Cavs right now. Who you
I'm
got?
taking the Knicks. I'm taking the Knicks.
Wow.
Probably in 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking the Knicks. I'm taking the Knicks in that series. And the Celtics thing, it's disappointing. Like, obviously, one of those games was the first game of the season. Celtics shot absurd numbers from 3. In 2 of those games against the Knicks, they shot 47%. The other game, they shot 48%. The other night, the Knicks outplayed the Celtics for much of that game, and then the Knicks kind of sold it late in regulation and then lost in overtime. So I don't think the gap is that huge. But yeah, the Celtics are the favorites to win the East for a reason. I think the Knicks are honestly better than the Cavs at this point. I don't think they took a step back. They took a step back defensively, but have been so much better offensively. And that's what happens when you have a guy like Karl Anthony Towns, who is a great stretch 5, but a horrible defensive 5 because he's not a rim protector. You can target him in the pick and roll, and you see kind of the downsides of having him play the 5 defensively. But that's what happens when you bring him in and you don't have a starting center to play, because Mitchell Robinson missed most of the season, and Thibs has been pretty reluctant to play Mitch and Karl a lot of stretches since Mitch has been back this season. So I'm not sure exactly how the playoffs are going to play out, but I don't think this Knicks team is like, oh, they're out of it. Like, people are worried about them being the Pistons, like Sean just said. That's not happening. This Knicks team is still electric.
So the Knicks would be the 3 seed,
Yes.
right? And then who would they take on in that second round matchup?
The Celtics.
As
the Celtics are the 2 seed.
Oh, they're the 2 seed.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, Cleveland's got the better record.
Yep.
I'm an idiot. Even
Which is why it's a shame that they're going to have a second round exit. A shame for them. They're going to have a second round exit for the 3rd straight year, and you won't really be able to identify that progress based on their playoff exit.
Yep.
I still think this Knicks team is much better and well suited for the future, because this team is locked. This starting 5 is locked in.
It's got a little 76er feel to it, man. Yes, it does.
That's not fair.
Yes, it does.
Really not fair.
Because
that's true. Look, go
second
through those.
round. They were the overall 1 seed. They were the overall 1
Who
seed.
was?
The Sixers.
Okay, but go through those second round exits. They sold the series to the Hawks, who they were favored against and had no business losing to.
Okay.
They were also up 3-2 against the Celtics.
Yes.
Go through those second round exits. The Knicks had no business winning any of those second rounds.
You're in the details.
Except last year.
You're in the details.
Matter.
I'm talking about the overall vibe.
But those second round exits matter.
But I'm actually giving you.
It is interesting because the Sixers haven't gone more than 3 straight years, I believe, with 3 straight second round exits. I believe their longest streak has been
sounds about
3 years, because they lost in the first round last year,
But
and then they lost in the first round in the bubble.
I bring it up because anytime you want to give the Sixers just a sliver of positive, thoughts on what they were able to do with Embiid healthy in those 3 seasons where they made it to the second round, you get poo-pooed on, man. You get crushed. And the Knicks are entering in that territory.
No, because the Sixers reached playoff purgatory, and their losses were embarrassing. That Hawks last loss was embarrassing,
100%,
and no one will ever forget it. The Raptors loss wasn't embarrassing in 2019, but it was as heartbreaking as a loss as you could ever imagine in the playoffs.
Yes,
as every Sixers fan knows. And then they also lost to the Celtics when they were up 3-2. The Knicks losses 2 years ago, nobody even thought that we got to the second round. That was when Jalen Brunson really emerged onto the scene, and it was alongside Julius Randle, and Julius Randle had a bad playoffs, but Jalen Brunson was like, he became that guy this season.
Yep.
Last year, their whole team is injured. Julius Randle was out the entire season. And then you get to the second round, they're up on the Pacers 2-0. OG Anunoby gets hurt. He's out the series, completely flips, comes back in game 7. Can't really even play. Completely flips the series. Josh Hart is limping most of that series. Jalen Brunson goes down game 7.
You got a Brunson jersey at the crib? You are nicked up, man. You are nicked
I like
up.
the squad. I like the squad. I think it's a really good team. That this isn't a team where it's a 1-year timeline. They had to get it done this year. This team is set up for years to come, and they're going to continue to improve. They need to make adjustments where they surround Karl Anthony Towns with a reliable defensive 5. But there's a lot that we could talk about with Mikal Bridges, how they need to do a better job when Brunson's on the floor, getting Mikal Bridges involved in the offense with dribble handoffs, more pick and rolls for him, some zoom actions for him. That's a big question mark next offseason going into next season.
Okay.
I'm just telling you, this Knicks team is going to be around. They're not in playoff purgatory the way the Sixers were.
I am a Brunson lover. I absolutely.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I love.
I mean, Sean said the other night on Twitter,
I am a Karl Anthony Towns guy
Page
too as well.
was going to be the best player in that series. I mean, come on, have we forgot about what Brunson is?
Sean's definitely.
I know he's a Knicks hater. Obviously,
yeah, he's living up to the word here, which is great. By the way, where are your dancing shoes at, Bernard? What's going on there? We need an update. He says, by the way, you line up 100 NBA people to pick Knicks Pistons right now. At worst, he thinks it's 50-50.
No chance. You'll see it. You'll see when the predictions come out next week. When that matchup's set, you'll see all the predictions.
I agree with that.
Nobody is picking.
But I hope he's right, because therefore you can get money on the Knicks, and it's at least a decent play.
Knicks will be substantially favored.
I agree with that.
It's really not a question.
I'm with you as far as the Knicks are
concerned. I'll make Sean a hefty bet, and the odds can be very much in his favor. It doesn't have to be monetary. That it can be something fun. The Knicks are not losing a series to the Pistons. Well, no chance.
We got that game tonight. Knicks and Pistons. Pistons 3.5-point favorites at home, 229. Why are they favored? Why are they favored?
Everyone's out for the Knicks. I think Josh Hart's out. I think Karl Anthony Towns is out. Brunson's only playing
April 10th.
Brunson's only playing so he can be eligible for the awards, because he's very close to that 65 game mark.
What's he playing for?
He has to play 65 games.
I know, but what award?
Not any award, but he'll make the All-NBA third team.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, maybe even second team. I'd vote him second team, but definitely third team.
Yeah, I love Brunson, and it's great to have him back. It sucks that he did roll his ankle. That was a great game, too. Who did he do that against? The Lakers? Was that the Lakers? I think he rolled his ankle.
Earlier this season, I believe.
Earlier in March it was. All right, we do have the one other game that has my attention, the T-Wolves and Memphis Grizzlies. T-Wolves are 2.5-point favorites. Of course, Grizzlies, how's it been since they fired their coach? I don't even know who replaced Jenkins.
Why am I blanking on his name?
I'm sure he was an assistant coach.
Yeah, no, he was. I can't.
How have the Grizzlies? Have they turned it around? Or are they now going to be?
They're 7-8. Or they were when I checked.
Since they fired Jenkins?
Since over the last 15 games. Since they fired Jenkins, maybe they're like 3-4, 3-3, something around that. But they were struggling before that. They've been pretty around 500, pretty mediocre since they fired Jenkins, and that was the direction they were headed. But it's a huge game tonight.
It is.
These standings are going to come down to the very last day,
it's
the very
tight.
last game
Wild West.
Sunday, especially because the Warriors dropped a huge one last night
against
to the
San Antonio
Spurs on a buzzer beater, which was just an inexcusable loss. And if you remember last year, the Spurs beat the Nuggets in one of the last games of the regular season that dropped the Nuggets from the 1 seed. Nuggets were going to get the 1 seed last year. It was a tight race between the Nuggets, the Thunder, and the Wolves for that 1 seed. The Nuggets drop an inexcusable loss to the Spurs, a Spurs team that wasn't playing for anything like they aren't this year now. And the Nuggets drop out of the 1 seed. Now the Spurs just did that to the Warriors, and the Warriors now the 7 seed with 2 games remaining on their schedule. So it's going to be interesting how this plays out. But this is a really tight race right now. The Nuggets are the 4th seed, and they have the same record as the Clippers, who are the 5th seed. And then the Grizzlies are half game back as the 6th seed, and the Warriors 7th seed, Wolves 8th seed. So that's really jumbled. It's going to come down to the last game.
That was an outright winner by the San Antonio Spurs, who were 17.5-point underdogs, plus 1,050 underdogs in the money line, plus 1,050.
Yeah, whoever had that.
Harrison Barnes with the winner from downtown. Nice game there. Nice ending. Let's put it that way. All right. Anything for you in that game tonight? If you had to give me a winner as far as the T-Wolves 2.5-point favorites on the road in Memphis?
Yeah, I like the T-Wolves, especially off their collapse against the Bucks the other night. I mean, they gave up a 30-3 run, another crucial loss for the playoff race.
God, how do you do that? That's crazy.
I just really don't like this Grizzlies team at all.
No.
What Ja's been, I mean, he's just the arrogance. And like you want to play with a degree of arrogance, but when you're flipping off the commissioner like you are when you're shooting a gun for the second time after
He
you've
flipped
been
off.
warned,
They got you.
proverbially
Yeah,
flipping off
like
the
that.
commissioner.
I love the grenade though.
And then throwing a grenade.
They didn't say
It's
anything
like,
about
what
grenades.
other military violent tactic are we going to use to just piss people off?
Very immature.
It's like, come on, dude. Like, you just don't get it. Like, the guy obviously doesn't get it. And his play hasn't been good enough to justify that type of action this season. So I'm out on this Grizzlies team.
We're the
I like
same people.
Timberwolves.
We're the same people that were saying, I told you, Ja Morant over Zion. What are they saying now? Are they still saying the same thing?
It's a great question. Both guys you just don't want to be in business with.
To me, it was more along the lines of marketing and
There's a
everything.
good person to ask these OnlyFans questions too.
Who?
Zion.
Is he an OnlyFans guy?
Oh, I mean, I don't know for sure, but that guy's around.
God bless him.
I don't know, honestly. That's a really good question. I think Ja, it's tough because it's the maturity thing with Ja, but it's really the weight and the health with Zion. But that also kind of relates to his maturity as well, because he just hasn't done enough to get himself in game shape and prevent some of these injuries. It's really tough. I would probably lean Zion a little bit right now. I think he's the better player when they're both at their maximum health. I think that Zion is the better player, but they're both guys you do not want to be in business with.
Yeah. All right, Daily Ticket rolling on. We got a lot to hit on the way out. Got you till 5 o'clock. Sam Oshtry from The Score hanging with us. I did want to give another shout out. Last night, I moved off of the blower and then got over to the world of basketball instead of staying with the minutia. But Pat McAfee, did you see what he did last night?
I did. I saw the clips on Twitter.
He
had everyone out.
It's next level what he's doing, man. Like, he is.
I mean, that was impressive. Like Snoop Dogg with other performers.
Snoop, Jelly
Shane
Roll,
Gillis, I saw
Wiz
was there.
Khalifa, Shane Gillis was there. They had all sorts of nonsense. He's from Pittsburgh, so he wanted to do something cool. Of course, had the icons Ben Roethlisberger, Paul Skeens, had Sidney Crosby out there. Gave away over $3 million to lucky fans and attendance. Like, it was next level. And I know that McAfee rubs some people the wrong way, and that's only going to happen when you're as big as he is. That's fine. To me, he has been one of the best in the industry, a breath of fresh air. I would like a little less of the whining, canceling me. Like, all right, dude. Like, you know, you're on ESPN at 1 o'clock. You're not really all that canceled. Let's keep it moving, and you're doing unbelievable work. But hey, man, who am I to say anything to him, because he is incredible at what he is doing. But a really cool show. I watched it for a little bit. And you would just assume, like, all right, you know, this is a tough sell. You're not a comedian. You are funny, but you're not a comedian. I know he has some chops as far as comedy is concerned, but it was pretty entertaining. And I want to give him
Bring out that type of guest, especially musically.
Packed house, sold out crowd, fights in the crowd too. I think,
Really? Were there?
Yeah, there was a brawl.
Oh, you know what I saw actually from that? Oz the Mentalist.
Yeah,
got
Oz was
something
there.
wrong. No, he got something wrong.
Oh, he did.
You didn't see that?
No.
Oh my god. And
That's the reason why I didn't see it.
Oh, I think O's the Mentalist.
Yeah, it's a little absurd.
He's always been the most impressive person in the world to me. And I don't understand how he does
He's
it.
the devil. He's the devil.
It's
him
like
and David
ridiculous.
Blaine are
And I've-
devils.
I don't know who that is.
David Blaine, you don't know who that
Is
is?
he another magician?
Yeah, he's a magician.
So I mean, I really only know O's because he goes to every sport.
First of all, he's
team.
going by O's. Like, I'm out. He's got to be Oz, but
I
that's
think his name's O's.
O's.
though.
All right. He's
I mean, I
really
don't
good at what
care.
he does.
But so he's always been the most impressive person. I just I've watched the clips a million times trying to figure out. And I just cannot understand how he's like controlling what people are going to think, like controlling their
Oh,
thoughts.
not
It's-
even
it's-
that. He's like, now take off your shoe. And then
Yeah.
there's a picture of you and your dad,
Yeah,
you know, in your shoe. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But he did a trick. I think you can't really do a trick when 12,000 people are supposed to like listen to what you say. But he did a trick in front of all the people last night, and it was like he revealed the number that everyone was supposed to have in their calculator, and it was just dead wrong.
Oh man!
And McAfee was like, oh, and he was just like, oh, like you know, sometimes
We're
pressing
giving away
buttons,
money.
people are drunk,
Yeah,
and he just had no idea how to finesse out of that. But it was the first time I've ever seen him just get something dead wrong, and
Yeah.
people didn't applaud for him.
Well, it was a pretty cool deal out there, and it obviously opens your eyes to things that are happening. And putting a smile on people's face, getting people together, minus the fight. Pretty cool stuff there. And you'd like to see more of that happening. Maybe in Philadelphia, it'd be great to see some people take the baton and run with that. Maybe like a Shane Gillis, because he's got a great following at this point in time. And
he does shows, not like that. But he just does his own comedy shows.
Yeah, like Helium. There's 15 people that fit in the place.
No, he sold out Wells Fargo.
Oh, he did sell out Wells Fargo. You're right. You're right.
You think he's still in the Helium?
No,
league?
I did not.
Come on.
You're right.
He's one of the biggest comedians of the game.
Time out. You're right. He did do Wells Fargo. I apologize. I did forget about that. No, and you know what? That was the same arena type style. And he was there and he was like, man, nice work with this. This was a good job. So maybe he could see that and run with it. I thought it was really good. And he deserved the shout out, as I said, and giving away over that. Did you see how he gave away the money?
Yeah, the money.
It was
machine.
Plinko. Yeah, it was Plinko from Price is Right style. Where they drop boop, 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 boop.
I don't know what that is.
You're not up on Price is Right, bro?
I've never seen that in my life.
Yodeler, cliffhanger, a new car.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Man.
Speaking gibberish
Good
right now.
grief. All right. Bum, 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 bum. I just see you with the Price is Right sounder on the way out. All right. Daily ticket rolling on. We close up shop here. 5 o'clock. You get a little beef at night. Talking some college hoops, putting a bow on the season, a sprinkle on some college football. We went over week 0, week 1, as far as games listed on DraftKings Sportsbook. Tell you what, because Beef knew the exact amount of days until Saturday, the first Saturday, which is being played in Ireland, I believe it's Kansas State or Iowa State. And we got some great banger of games in that first 2 weeks of the college football season. So we had some fun. That's coming your way at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Back to the world of golf. Swing it and ding it. More Daily Ticket after this.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Heads up, we've had a crash in Maple Shade, has 73 northbound. Again, up 295 to 38. The center lane is blocked. In southbound delays, 38 to Church Road. 42 south, that's heavy off the Walt Whitman down to Creek Road. The Vine Expressway, bumper to bumper both ways. Schuylkill 95. 95 northbound jam, Vine Expressway to Bridge, and southbound heavy Cotman to Bridge. Westbound Schuylkill, Crawling University to Girard Boulevard to Belmont, and heavy Gladwin to Conshohocken. Eastbound Jan 202 to Belmont, Montgomery Drive to South. Laura Tortella, total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? Whether you're a local shop or global enterprise, Bank of America gives you access to a range of business solutions to help make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today by calling 844-844-iHeart. That's 844-844-iHeart.
Stay tuned to Fox PHL The Gambler for the latest CEOs you should know.
Sharia McRae, CEO of Foundation Academies.
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Are your money skills total trash? Well, you are not alone. Personal finance ignorance is as American as apple pie. But don't fret. The How to Money podcast is here to help you improve.
Think, Matt, if your emergency fund was invested, especially given the volatility we're experiencing right now. Ouchies.
Investing, it is ultimately a necessity, but you got to keep that emergency fund accessible. It needs to be cash parked in your savings.
It's time to increase your money knowledge. And the How to Money podcast is here to bring the wisdom. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search How to Money, and start listening today.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at nissanusa.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
Roots Picnic is back May 31st and June 1st at the Man in Fairmount Park in Philadelphia. Hold on, wait a minute. D'Angelo, Lenny Kravitz, Meek Mill, The Roots, Glorilla, Miguel, Thames, Kaytranada, Lotto, Music Soul Child, Jeezy, 2 Chainz, and many more. For tickets and info, head to rootspicnic.com. Presented in partnership with Live Nation Urban.
Big news. Gerhardt's, who has been a staple in the greater Philadelphia area for over 80 years, is expanding, opening 2 brand new showrooms in King of Prussia and Phoenixville. Come see at 600 South Henderson Road in King of Prussia or 700 Nutt Road in Phoenixville. And don't forget Gerhardt's existing showrooms in Glenside, Northeast Philly, Springhouse, Malvern, Ardmore, and Doylestown. Plus, shop 24/7 at Gerhardt'sAppliance.com. Gerhardt's has been supporting our community for over 80 years, so be sure to shop with the home team. Shop Gerhardt's.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No, call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com. It happens a lot. Kyle Fisher checking in. My goodness. Sam doesn't know Price is Right or David Blaine. He's never felt older. Yeah, this is what happens as we get older, Kyle. It just, look, it's not a knock on you, Sam. You should know who David Blaine is, though. He's got a new special out.
On Netflix?
Amazon, Netflix, one or the other. Like, he's literally on my television kissing a snake.
Blaine, he looks kind of familiar.
Oh, he's a freak, too. He's been doing it for like 25 years now. I actually met him at Made in America. Do you know what Made in America is?
Come on, of course.
All right. Well, I don't know.
Those were some of the best days of my high school years.
Lord.
They really were.
I think I sold you something one time.
Probably.
Yeah. Which one is which one is the one that stands out in your mind if I ask you the Made in America?
I went to Meek Mill Jay-Z.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Just incredible. And that was when like those DJs who now I've seen a million times in person, but like Marshmello, Zed.
Yeah.
Saw those guys there.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of those guys.
Yeah.
That was my introduction to them.
Yeah, right.
I was always excited to go later. Like I was like, oh, this must be cool when you're actually like of the age to drink. You're not like high school kids sneaking stuff in.
It's not at all. It's too
but
expensive. Everything is so expensive.
It was expensive.
It's
But the
absurd.
Labor Days were the best. Right before you go back to
Yeah.
school, you start that school on Tuesday.
You know what I
break
did?
Saturday, Sunday.
I went first like 5 years. I never missed a Made in America. First 4 years.
When did it start?
That's a good question. I think Jay-Z and Pearl Jam was the first year.
Really?
And it was fantastic.
Oh, I saw Post Malone too, Nicki Minaj. All the stars went. What happened to that?
It was after 09. It was like two, because I was past that. So it was like 13, 14. I don't know. I just remember being so fired up for it. Also, in my younger days when I was a little bit of more of a DJ / everything, you were allowed to bring bottles of water in.
Oh,
it had to be sealed. So you can
Sure,
pop.
everyone just brought water in.
Yeah, you pop those things off with butter knives. You boil the top of the water bottle, so it loosens up the cap. Pop that off, fill it up with vodka. So we did that, and that was a bad idea. Sipping on vodka all day at a concert
when it's hot.
Yeah, it was
Labor Day.
not good. Not good. Not my best.
Those places, like you couldn't lose your friends or the people you were with.
You're done.
Because no service.
Correct.
Place was so mobbed.
Yeah.
God, those were awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time. Good time.
I wish they came back. What happened to it? It just like fell apart.
Yeah, you know what happened? Buster's pretty adamant about this. He'll tell you exactly what took place. But there was a transition from a big major sponsorship, and then it was handed over to somebody else, and then that changed everything. And it was just too commercialized, because it had character in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it got tied into.
It was the last couple of years when they were doing it. The lineups.
I didn't even
really
know
bad.
any of them.
Yeah, the lineups sucked. So
Roots Picnic has been delivering though from the beginning, still going strong. They do it right. They give you the old flavor. They give you the new school. Little of this, little of that. You ever been to a Roots Picnic?
Is that July 4th?
No, it's like the end of May.
Then I haven't been.
You never been to a Roots Picnic? No. This is going to be a good one too coming up here.
Meek Mill, I see.
Yeah, but they the Roots are the best. That's my favorite band of all time, the Roots. All right, close up shop here. Some fun stuff on the way out. Again, we hit on some NBA. We hit on some NBA draft. If you missed anything, catch everything at foxphlgambler.com. The great Nick Pacone does an awesome job of getting everything podcasted on our website at foxphlgambler.com. Also, while we're talking about promoting, please, iHeartRadio app. You download it, right? Everybody should have it. It's free. You can listen to all the radio stations on the iHeartRadio app. But here's the cool thing. Presets. It's a new thing with them. And I'm asking you to add the gambler to your preset. It's real easy to do so. And you can scan. And there's no pause in between scanning when you hit the preset. So it's pretty cool. There's some other Philadelphia radio stations that are in town, obviously, that you can add to it as well. And it's almost like it's on your dashboard, but it's at the palm of your hand on your phone. So add the gambler to a preset, specifically number 1. We appreciate that, please.
My Lord.
But bottom line is we need that. Anyways, let's keep it moving here. Closing up shop with some odds and ends. First of all, Justin Rose is now 7 under through 15, having a fantastic first round to open up shop here as far as the Masters are concerned. Round 1, leader after 1. He's probably going to be that guy. It seems like everybody. Rory is on 12 right now. He's putting for par. He's 3 under. He's going to have to go absolutely berserk to catch Rosie. I don't see that happening here. So Justin Rose is probably going to be your leader after 1. Congratulations to anybody that had that. Will he keep it going? He's a guy that's very capable of staying hot at the top. The issue is, so is the guy right below him. It's Scotty Scheffler. And he's 4 under 68. Corey Connors, the Canadian, was 68 as well, 4 under. But long way to go. Pretty entertaining first round. Absolutely beautiful weather down there in Augusta. Nothing better, Sam. Nothing better.
Got to get there. Got to get there one year.
Bryson DeChambeau on 12 here. Par 3. What a difficult hole. I mean, you have to hit it. This hole is so difficult because if you don't hit it that specific distance, you end up in the bunker, you end up short, you end up in the creek.
Life's a beach.
Yeah,
I'm just playing in the sand.
There you go. I am getting a little excited, though. I will tell you this about the NFL. Starting to get a little juice.
I haven't thought about it for 1 second.
All right, we'll keep it moving.
My Lord.
No. It's NBA playoffs.
I know.
It's literally my favorite 2 months of the year.
The reason why is quarterbacks. Yeah. Quarterbacks get my attention. And Justin Fields spoke to the media yesterday as far as being the Jets starting quarterback, and it got my attention, got my juices going. Again, not so much from the Jets perspective, but you're starting to talk about the NFL draft that's fast approaching. You're talking about quarterbacks, and I know that this is going to be. It's weird because if the Eagles didn't win the Super Bowl, I think I would have a little bit more focus on the NFL. But the fact that they won the Super Bowl, I'm like,
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too, where it's like all on the Eagles. Let's like every move they're making in an attempt to run it back has been interesting and really what it comes down to is the draft. So starting to look into the draft a little more as that's a few weeks away, especially from the Eagles perspective, because their whole strategy is they have to invest in young players, and that requires drafting really well, which of course we know they've done. And a lot of guys who were drafted the last few years that contributed to the Super Bowl team, especially defensively, but that has to continue when you're letting some of these vets go and you're not willing to pay massive contracts. So the draft is coming up and obviously really important for the Eagles, as it will be a lot of teams, but with not a huge quarterback presence in the first round, at least, it'll certainly be an interesting draft that may not get as much buzz, but a lot of talent still up top.
All right, NFL draft. Mark Henry Jr. is all fired up. He's ready to go. So we'll be all over the draft for you coming up here in a little bit. But as Sam pointed out, we are hooped up, ready to go. We are also hockeyed up. The Frozen Four starts tonight, Sam.
Really? Who's in it?
You got to play for us?
Is it Michigan's in it? They're usually in it.
Yeah,
BU?
Western Michigan and BU's in it.
Predict that every year.
Nice call by you. But we do have 2 new teams. Actually, no. Western Michigan, I believe this is their first Frozen Four. Denver is in it. Okay. They're normally in it as well, or they've been in it before. But BU, Boston, correct. And Penn State.
Really?
Penn State Nittany Lions made the Frozen Four.
That good?
This is the first time that they're in. I just think they got a hockey team, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know.
A couple years ago.
They had a great year for their entire athletic program.
Dude, number 1 in wrestling.
Yeah.
Hell of a season for football.
Yeah.
Women's volleyball.
Maybe.
Yeah, no,
sure.
look it up.
I know. I
Look it
believe you. I know. I
Look
know.
it
I
up.
saw they had a great year for the athletic program. I just forget all the sports.
All the other. Yeah, man.
Field hockey, I think they did pretty well.
Oh, big field hockey guys here. So
soccer.
Give me a play on the Frozen Four. The Penn State Nittany Lions are plus 120 taking on BU tonight at 8:30 p.m.
That's a good match.
You like that money line?
Yeah, I may go with Penn State in that game.
We're taking the Nittany Lions in the Frozen
they got
Four.
good speed on the ice, good back line, good in taking advantage power play situations.
There you go.
So I like Penn State in that situation.
Good talk. All right, we will end on this. Phillies tonight once again taking on the Braves, round 3. We do have a lineup. Schwarber at the leadoff position, Turner second, Harper third, Castellanos at cleanup, Kepler at the 5, Realmuto at the 6, Bohm at the 7, Stott, Marsh, Luzardo. So we do have some significant changes in the lineup for tonight. I like that. Give me a player that's going to have a base hit or 2 here. 2 bases, over 1.5 total bases. Who are you going with?
Over 1.5. I mean, Schwarber has been electric.
Yeah,
I mean,
he went 0 for 4 yesterday. Though,
yeah, but other than that, he's been electric. I can see a bounce back game from him.
There you go.
He's really on he's on an MVP pace right now. Just how he's raking the ball. I'd love to see Bohm get a hit and just get his confidence back. Like that's really, it's a mental thing at this point.
Rolling the dice on that one,
and that's definitely rolling the dice. But hitting 7th, I think could be good for him. I like Bohm to bounce back. At some point, he has to. Like, the thing is with him, compared to the Trey Turner struggles a couple years ago, is at least you knew Trey Turner was putting that work and had a good attitude. And that's why I think that whole ovation thing was well-deserved, because you knew he was putting in the work in the batting cages, doing everything possible to get himself on track. And it really was a mental thing. With Alec Bohm, it's obviously a mental thing because we know the talent is there right now. But it's also an attitude thing. Like, is his attitude where it needs to be? Is he doing everything to get himself on track? And of course, we heard what he said about Philadelphia when he came to the Phillies initially, and fans weren't happy with him. But he was been pretty electric, other than stints since then. But he obviously struggled the end of last year and is off to a really bad start this year. So I'd love to see Bohm get it going a little bit before the season really gets into the middle part.
All right. Well, tonight I'll go Phillies with the win, and I wouldn't mind taking a piece on the under. I know it's a low number at 7.5, but something tells me that those bats aren't really going to be hitting all that well down in Atlanta. But maybe Harper keeps it going again, going up against the righty. I would look at Bryce Harper, Schwarber. I'm with you on that one, and hopefully the Phillies come away with the victory. Phillies, I know, don't they have the Giants coming up?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, the Giants on the road. No, excuse me. It goes Cardinals and then Giants at home.
Yeah,
that's what it is. So they go to St. Louis after this, and then the Giants at home starting on Monday of next week. But tonight, and then it's the Cardinals for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It says tomorrow. So
Tomorrow's
Thursday,
Friday.
Saturday, Sunday?
Tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah, I know. Oh, gotcha. All right. With that, let's get the hell out of here anyways. Yeah.
My Lord.
Sam, great job, as always, at The Score. You can find him on socials as well. Sostry. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Nice pull by me on that one. Special thank you to everyone tuning in. Kyle Fisher, we're going to get him back on here, talk a little Phils, maybe tomorrow. Might have to get him on the show tomorrow. We'll be live at 3 p.m., brand new daily ticket. However, coming up next, little beef at night. Ryan Beef Coyle joined me last night. We talked all things college basketball. We talked all things college football and a little NBA draft. Also, a little OnlyFans conversation. You'll like that as well. 6 o'clock, swing it and ding it. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here to The Gambler. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace.
Looking to elevate your golf game? Welcome to Penn Club on 2nd in the heart of Conshohocken. With over 350 courses to choose from, 3 state-of-the-art simulator bays powered by